All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Relief Valve podcast. I got a couple of updates for you today. First of all, I want to thank all the new followers. I think we're at like 500 on YouTube, and we're at 5 or 600 on Rumble, and I'm growing more on X as well. So it's been really awesome. I'm cross following everybody that are big time names, and they've been following me and liking my posts as well. So it's been really cool that the show is getting some eyeballs on it and getting a little bit of traction. Thank you, everybody, for that. So the first update that I have here today is, and not a lot of people have been talking about this, and I spoke to somebody online on X, and I told them I am going to be one of the ones that is going to bring this out to the people, so you are aware of what's happening. So Disney cruise workers are busted in a CP sting, hauled off ships for deportation. More than 2 dozen cruise ship employees, including Disney cruise workers, were arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in a child exploitation ring bust at a port in San Diego. In all, 28 people from 3 different countries, 26 from the Philippines, one from Indonesia, and another one from Portugal, were interviewed, and 27 were found to have taken part in the receipt, possession, transportation, distribution, or viewing of child sexual exploitation material or child, according to CBP. It is unclear how many of these people work for Disney Cruise Line. Isn't it amazing how many foreigners Disney hires? An American-based, well, it's America headquarters is in America. They actually are kind of all around the world. They're in Beijing, right, and in other countries. So I guess there is that. But you notice on all these cruises, there's one guy that I follow. Now I can't remember his name, but he goes to these different places and he checks out hotels and ships. I checked out the worst cruise, I checked out the best cruise, and all that. And he meets nice people. They're nice people, but they're from all over the world. Instead of having like I people from America, they don't even have to be white, just people from America. But anytime he would stop and he would speak to someone, they were from another country. They were from Indonesia, Portugal, China, what have you. It is unclear how many of these people work for Disney Cruise Line. So, what were they? They were guests on the ship and they were part of it. So it was receipt, possession, transportation, distribution, or viewing. So they were transporting kids, possession of kids or of pictures, receipt. So receiving pictures or perhaps a child. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Disney said we have zero tolerance policy for this type of behavior. Right. They've got trannies running like the Disney Princess store. When I took the family, there wasn't any at the time. But a couple of years later, after we came back, there was a dude with a beard, it ended up being a story that popped up. Another podcaster did it. A dude in a beard and a pink dress outside of the Disney Princess store. So young girls and their families could go in and buy a magic wand or a tutu or a princess dress or whatever. This fucking guy was standing out there in a pink princess dress, full beard. He was a tranny. So they've got zero tolerance for CP, but trannies can run their shops for little girls. That's fine. So this is all bullshit. For this type of behavior, fully cooperated with law enforcement. While the majority of these individuals were not from our cruise line, those who were are no longer with the company. So were they guests on the ship, or what exactly were they? CBP agents boarded a total of 8 cruise ships in the port of San Diego between April 23rd and April 27th in search of the suspects. CBP said the suspects' visas have been revoked and they are scheduled for deportation. Dharma Mehta told the California Post that she was a passenger on one of the ships and that it was really unsettling seeing the arrests, including one worker who was her server during the 5-day trip. He was in full uniform, which was in a blazer, tie. Some of the other employees were still in their chef's uniforms with their name tags on it, Meta said. So yeah, pedophiles are cooking for you on the ship. I hope you enjoy. The Port of San Diego told Fox News Digital that it was not involved in the law enforcement action and that under California local law and state authorities do not cooperate with federal immigration, because California doesn't want criminals being brought to justice. So, of course, you haven't really heard much from Disney Cruise Line at all. But there's one other thing going on about this, and I want to correct it for everybody that's watching, because this is part of, like, and I hate using this word because the left started it, but misinformation. And there's information going around the internet that the ships have stopped at Little St. James Island, which is Epstein Island. So what this rumor has been is suggesting a Disney cruise ship went right to Jeffrey Epstein's island. And this wasn't the case. I looked into it. I asked Grok. No, the Disney Cruise Line ships have never stopped at Epstein Island, Little St. James, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The claim is long-running internet rumor that has been repeatedly debunked by fact checkers, including the Associated Press, Yahoo News, Newsweek, and Reuters. So you know you can't trust those fuckers anyway. But it originated from a third-party excursion called Captain Nautica's Snorkeling Expedition, which was listed as an optional port adventure for passengers on a Disney cruise docked in St. Thomas. So the people would leave the cruise in order to go to the snorkeling. The snorkeling happened near to the island, but did not actually go onto the island. So here's what actually happened. The excursion was not operated or owned by Disney. It was run by an independent local tour operator, Captain Nautica Thomas John Excursions. The boat took snorkelers to two spots in the water, Turtle Cove, Buck Island, and then the waters near Little St. James. The tour description simply mentioned Little St. James as a landmark so people could identify the second snorkel site. Passengers never landed on the island. They snorkeled offshore in the surrounding reef area. Disney's official statement to the Associated Press: the island as well as another location were included in the description of a third-party tour, so the participants could identify the areas where snorkeling would be available. The tour had no connections to the island itself, and Disney has never had plans involving the island. Disney's cruise line actually ports in the region at St. Thomas and St. John, the U.S. Virgin Islands National Park, not the private Little St. James. Large cruise ships have never docked there. The island was never part of any official Disney itinerary. The rumor keeps resurfacing on social media, Instagram, X, Twitter, etc., with screenshots of the old excursion description, but it has been false every time it's been checked. Disney owns its own private island, Castaway Bay, I think that's supposed to be Bay, in the Bahamas, which is the only private island it uses for cruises. And the bottom line is, no Disney ship has ever stopped at Epstein Island. So, I love conspiracies as much as the next guy, but when we're going to look at information, I want it to be accurate. I want to know that the proper people are being held responsible and we're getting the proper information. When we branch off to other stuff, which again, hey, a lot of the conspiracy theories have been proven true, but then there's the other ones that are false. People bullshit you online and then they get mixed up with all of it. And then it gives somebody who's talking about a conspiracy theory a bad name because it's easily proven that it's bullshit. I mean, could you imagine the outrage if a Disney cruise ship was parked right docked at Jeffrey Epstein's island? I mean, what the fuck are you going to be doing there, right? So, shame on Disney. Shame on Disney for all the practices it's doing in the United States, putting trans people in characters in its shows and movies, having trans people running their shops at the main parks. But at one point, they were pushing out over the intercoms pro LGBTQ agenda. You're beautiful just the way you are. You can be whatever thing you want to be, or you can be. I don't know if they were coming right out and saying whatever gender, but it was saying something else. We love everything here. LGBTQ is fine. They're pumping all this shit out over the intercom while people are there and enjoying time with their families. So, not super shocked that there was pedophilia happening on their ships too. They're all going to a cruise. It's going to have families and children on it. I mean, this is where all these people gravitate to. Where can you find the kids? Being a soccer coach, being a baseball coach, what have you, gym teacher at school. You find out, oh, they were a pedophile. Well, fucking, no kidding. What a crazy thing. They went for where all the kids are and pretended they were a normal person. So these are disgusting people. Shame on Disney. They still make millions, if not billions of dollars a year with all the tourism for all their shit. So there's no incentive for them to stop or do things better. Just come out with a bullshit statement where it says, we don't condone this. We work with the authorities and, we won't let this stuff happen. It's absolute garbage. So I have another update coming up after this. Thank you. Like and subscribe so you get updates for the show. And I'll be back soon with another one. Thank you, everyone.